four-bedroom unit. Alrighty, let's call to order Town of Basalt Planning and Zoning Commission meeting Tuesday, September 15th, 2020 at 6:03 p.m. Could we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Bill Marin,
Yo.
Joan Keith,
Here.
Gino Rossetti is absent, Eric Volzek, Tracy Bennett,
Here.
Bernie Grauer,
Here.
Rob Levitt.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Alrighty, let's approve minutes. We have, first up, we have August 4th, 2020. This is a reapproval of something we approved last time, though there was something wrong, but I forget what. If anybody has any changes or additions to make, please do that. If not, let's have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a first, we have a second. Let's give a first to Robert because he was there
Yep.
first, and Joan was second.
Okay. And you can do this one by roll.
Alrighty,
I can't see Rob's hand.
aye.
Okay. And
There we go.
Tracy?
Joan, up or down?
Tracy?
Okay, good.
Okay. All right, the minutes are approved 5-0.
All right.
6-0,
September 1, 2020, same thing. Do we have any additions or changes to make? And if not, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Okay, I'll give the first to Eric, because I heard him first, and second.
I'll second.
We'll take Tracy, sorry, Rob. Alrighty, all in favor? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Seems unanimous.
okay.
All thumbs up. I feel very Roman senatorial with the thumbs up and thumbs down.
Okay, the minutes were passed 6-0. Okay.
Okay, good. Item 3A, proposed amendment to R4MD code provisions. And who is handling this, James or
Yes.
Susan?
James is handling this.
Yeah, let me try to share my screen here, just a quick second. And this evening we have the applicants with us from Habitat for Humanity. We've got Gail Schwartz and her team, and they'll have a chance to comment here after staff comments. So this item is a code amendment request by Habitat for Humanity. They're requesting code amendments to the R4MD zone district to add language to the zone district to add a maximum unit size of 1,235 square feet for a two-level, two-bedroom unit in a fully deed-restricted, 100% deed-restricted project. The applicant is making the request as it relates to the Basalt Vista Affordable Housing Project behind the high school. In that project, 14 of the units are for employees in Picken County, and 13 of the units are for school district, as Picken County and the school district were partners in the development. The project is getting to the final phase, and the applicant is getting poised to build the last 9 affordable housing units, of which 7 are for the school district. And the school district and Habitat have found that an adjustment in the mix of the units from the original approvals is needed. So they would like to change several of the 3-bedroom duplex units into 2-bedroom units, which was an adjustment from the original program. So we've got the proposed code language on the screen here, and we're having a volume issue here. The applicants have determined that the most cost-effective way to make such an adjustment without having to change the structural or foundation design is to, let me move to the floor plans here. Is to remove one of the upper floor cantilevered bedrooms and then push the other bedroom to the stairs. And the applicant can go over this in more detail as part of their comments. But the resulting two-bedroom design would be 85 square feet over the maximum of 1,150 square feet that's currently in the zone district for a deed-restricted unit of 2 bedrooms. So the applicant has requested a code amendment to add two-level, 2-bedroom unit size of 1235 to the R4 and D zone district, and only for 100% deed-restricted projects. In evaluating the proposed amendments, the applicants indicated it's difficult to do a 2-bedroom unit on 2 levels in the 1,150 square feet, which is currently required, as the stairs take up a considerable amount of livable area under that 1,150 square feet. So staff, in evaluating the application, agrees that it could be difficult to get sufficient storage in a 2-bedroom unit that is on 2 stories, and to meet the required 120 square feet of kitchen space that's from the affordable housing guidelines in making the unit livable. So staff believes also that the applicability of the proposed amendment is very limited, in that it's only for 100% deed-restricted projects where you have 2-level, 2-bedroom units. So we believe it would have limited impact. And so staff would like to continue to be good partners with Habitat and the school district, and also make the affordable housing units as livable as possible. So staff is supportive of the proposed code amendment. And this evening, staff would recommend hearing applicant comments, taking public comments, and then providing P&Z discussion. Ultimately, you could make a recommendation of approval to the council if you're comfortable. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can see the applicants. And Gil and Bo Blodgett, as well as Jake Ezrati, are here from the applicant group. Gail, do you have comments for the commission? Gail, you're muted. There you go.
Got it. Thank you. I want to be respectful, but thank you very much for the opportunity to meet with you at your meeting this evening and discuss the opportunity for us to make a modification in Basalt Vista Phase 3. Just as a reminder, and James, you got it just reversed. It's 14 units for the Roaring Fork School District and 13 units for Pitkin County. And we are finished with Phase 1. We're moving ahead with Phase 2 and with great success. But Phase 3, when we have seen that the project intended for the last 9 units in Phase 3 to be 7 of them, of the 9, to be dedicated to the Roaring Fork School District. And given our circumstances now with COVID and uncertainties related to the school district, we are asking for some flexibility. We want to meet the needs of our local teachers in our community and have the ability to present 2-bedroom units in Phase 3. Phase 3 only had 3 and 4-bedroom units. It has 5 3-bedroom units and 2 4-bedroom units, including 1 ADA unit. And we're looking for some flexibility to provide 2-bedroom units. It seems to be an interest of the district employees, especially the teachers, to have a little bit smaller, more affordable units. So in looking at creating these 2-bedroom units the most economic way, and you're going to hear from Jake and Bo, the most economic way, most efficient way is to keep our foundations, not have to re-engineer and modify these units. So we will be really reducing our overall entitlement on the project by 538 square feet overall by changing 2 of our 3-bedroom units to 2-bedroom units. And in that change, we will be, in fact, exceeding your 1150 square feet by 85 square feet. And the fact that we have these 2-bedroom units, we want to, again, maintain the quality, attractiveness, and livability of the units. And therefore, we're here asking for your consideration this evening for this change in the code so we can have an opportunity to introduce. As you might recall, there were 2 2-bedroom duplexes in phase 1. And now we're looking for the opportunity in phase 3 to also have 2-bedroom units available as well. But I want to thank the staff for your time and your investment in this conversation. We really greatly appreciate everyone that's taken time to work with us. And if I'm happy to answer questions. So I should have introduced myself, Gail Schwartz, President of Habitat. And I think Jake, who is our project manager, is going to have some comments as well.
Thanks, Gail. Hi, everyone. My name is Jake Azrati. I'm the project manager at Habitat for Humanity. And James, thank you for such a detailed background there. You and Gail have both left me very little to talk about, I think. But yeah, I think what I'll add is just kind of what we've done with the architect to look at all the other possibilities and try and figure out the most cost-effective way to get this done for the school district. And this has really been the only way that we see feasible, that is cost-effective. It won't be a major design change, and also provide enough livable space for the teachers, being that with the 2 bedrooms and that staircase that's not as really usable space. So, like James said, we feel that it is a valid change and minimal outcome, but with the 2-level, 2-bedroom just being specific to that, we feel that it would be a good change for the code amendment. I think, if anyone has questions, I'm happy to answer them, but I think James has done a really good job of detailing everything out.
All righty. Is the staff or applicant done with their presentation?
Yes.
I would just make myself available for any questions or an update on Basalt Vista, and we would really invite any members of the P&Z to come and tour and see the progress that we have made. And not that it's relevant to your decision, but the affordability and the efficiency of changing these units is important. We are even going to be open to making a deeper subsidy on phase 3. Right now, our units are 80% and 100% AMI. We are in discussion with the school district to have reduce our cost to meet 70% AMI, the average median income, again, to make these units more affordable to our teachers in the Roaring Fork School District in phase 3.
All right, thank you. What we'll do is, as usual, we will have commissioner questions, not comments. And then after we're done with questions for staff and applicant, we will go to a public hearing. And then we can express our deepest concerns and desires after that. Anyway, does anyone have any questions for staff or applicants? Let's start with Eric, since you're up at the top of my list.
Before I ask a question, knowing my conflict of interest, I haven't voted on Basalt Vista. Should I abstain? Am I allowed to ask a question? Susan, James, any thoughts?
Since we have a quorum, This is kind of a gray area. I was writing a note to James as we were presenting this, and, you know, while technically the amendment's a code amendment being asked for by Habitat for Humanity, and you're not really voting on the school district application, because just to kind of clarify what we're doing here, we're amending the code, and then the approvals that we did for Basalt Vista gave staff flexibility to make minor changes, and so that's what we're going to do if the code amendment's passed. But I think in kind of just a caution, since you work for the school district, I think maybe you should not vote. And sorry that I didn't click on that earlier.
I didn't think about it either, but am I free to ask one question?
Yeah.
Wait. Let me weigh in on first. Susan, let me weigh in on this first, because this is an application from Habitat for Humanity, not the school district. The school district is a user of this, but they're not the owner of this. But also, the question in front of us isn't even really relating to this project per se, though it is, but this is a code amendment. And as such, I would personally like to have Eric's input on it as a code amendment, since he lives in that area.
I'll digest and think about my voting, but I feel comfortable to ask my question, which is, just to clarify, so we're basically losing 2 bedrooms, so we're talking a few less people living up there, but the square footage, I mean, the numbers are going to be about the same. Is that accurate?
Well, the square foot will go down slightly, and yeah, that bedroom could be used, you know, it could have been an office, you know, because the teachers, you know, that they're the ones that seem to identify that they don't have a need for this bedroom. So either way, it has to go to the teacher, you know, so it would really just feel like an office room or something. So either way.
But basically, we went from having 9 bedrooms to having 7 bedrooms
Correct.
total.
No, 6 bedrooms.
Well, you have,
Well, so we are likely only going to do this for 2 units. So it would be 2 bedrooms less.
Okay, yeah, that just clarified. That's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Eric. Joan, do you have any questions?
Oh, Joan, you're on mute. You're on mute.
You're turning 2 3-bedroom units into 3 2-bedroom units.
I wish. We're turning 2 3-bedroom units into 2 2-bedroom units. We are losing 2 bedrooms
Okay.
out of the project in phase 3 because we're trying to meet the affordability and the demand of the school district.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'd love to come back for another unit, but that's not our discussion today, and we have no intention to do that.
Okay, Joan, is that your question? Okay, thank you. Tracy, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, good. Rob, do you have any questions of staff or the applicant?
Just, Gail, the timing of the construction up there?
Well, as I said, we are really doing well. We will finish phase 3 and close the end of the next phase, finish phase 2, and we'll close all of phase 2 by next May and June. And we are putting in the foundation for phase 3. We've put the building permit request in, and our intention is to finish that. That would be finished in spring of 22.
Spring of 2022.
That's correct. For
Okay.
all of phase 3.
That was it. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bernie, do you have any questions of the staff or applicant?
No, I really don't have any.
Okay, I do have a question of staff. Why is this rule even here? I understand is to keep the cost down, but this is affordable housing, and so it's just a question of subsidy, which is an internal discussion to an applicant. So I don't really see what the efficacy of this rule is in the first place.
Well, originally, when the Habitat for Humanity Basalt Vista application was going through the process, they proposed to amend the R4MD zone district to add higher allowable unit square footages for 100% deed restricted projects. And they did so to make the units more livable as affordable housing units. And that was supported back in 2017 when the project was initially approved. And, you know, at that point, staff and the boards were not interested in seeing the square footages for all units in the R4MD zone district increased because the R4MD zone district was originally intended as an attainable housing zone district. So if you don't have deed restrictions on the units, the way that it was contemplated to keep price down was to keep unit sizes down. And then when Basalt Vista came through, they requested the amendment to have higher unit sizes for 100% affordable housing to make the units more livable, and that was acceptable at the time. Does that answer your question?
I mean, the flexibility that we have is kind of built into staff's flexibility to amend the Basalt Vista approvals without bringing them back to you, but we can't amend the code administratively. That isn't in the plan.
That's understood. I'll speak more to this during comments. I don't want to waste our time right now on this issue, but it does seem kind of redundant to me. And the other question I have is this reduction in unit size more about demand or is it about cost?
So I can answer that. It's more about demand. What we've seen in the past is, and this is Bo Blodgett from Habitat, I'm the development. What we've seen in the past in previous phases is a lot more demand for 2-bedroom units. And we kind of did a recent, we interviewed a lot of teachers to kind of see, you know, what they're interested in Basalt Vista, kind of looked at incomes again, revisited these things. And we really decided that it's more attainable for more teachers. This has a lot to do with demand, and then also a little bit with cost, in that the easiest way to get to that 2-bedroom unit we proposed. But we could go back through and redesign a new 2-bedroom. We had a couple 2-bedrooms in phase 1, but those won't fit very well where we have them right now. It'll trigger a lot more design costs. And so this is what we've identified as the easiest way to bring that offering to our so that we could better fit demand and better fit their affordability needs.
So may I just also respond that we have greater demand on the part of Pitkin County, the 13 Pitkin County units, and again, because it's a much larger pool of employees than on the Roaring Fork School District size. And that's why we're being so sensitive to that employee group and their needs. And as the Roaring Fork School District, as the partner in the project, really wanting to provide a unit mix that is more attractive to their teachers and the ability for the teachers to buy homes, especially young, new teachers, maybe without families, and be part of our community and establish themselves. And there is an opportunity over time. They could move into or buy larger units if that be the case, but given the mix of units, we wanted to be more responsive in phase 3.
That answers my question. Does anyone else have any other further questions of staff or the applicant? No? All right, Susan, let's open this up for public hearing, and this is a public hearing, right?
It's not a public hearing, but we've noticed it for public comment, and we are being televised. And on our agenda sheet, we gave instructions to email planning@basalt.net or texting 970-379-1514 with your name and phone number and where you live, and then we'll call on you. I put the clock on when you were talking about opening up the public comment, and so we got about 40 seconds left. And I put it on for 1 minute and 15 seconds because there's about a 45-second delay between the Zoom and the TV output. So we just have a few more seconds left. And so far, I'll double check that my email.
So Susan, you have not found the Jeopardy soundtrack to play during this time?
No, I have like some chimes or something like that. So we're finished with our time, and let me just double check that I don't have any text. So I don't have any text, and let me check my email, and I don't have any email. So we don't have any public comment.
Okay, so let's end the public comment period at 6:29 p.m. And let's open this up for commissioner comments. Eric wishes not to comment, so we'll leave that as it may. Joan, do you want to comment on this? No? Tracy, do you have a comment to make?
No, I don't see any problems.
Okay, good. Rob, do you have any comments to make?
Well, I hope Eric can vote because I think this one's going to be pretty tight. Other than that, no.
Okay.
I think it's a fine project.
All right, Bernie, do you have any comments to make?
I think if this facilitates them meeting their mission and their market, then I have no problem with it.
All right, thank you. I also feel the same way. This is a great project, and I am for it in all manner. I do actually think this rule is a silly one, and it's because it's sort of like a double dipping rule, because you know, the whole purpose of the restrictions is to keep the thing affordable, but it's deed restricted in affordable housing by nature, and then we have to go through something like this for a.
Uh-oh. Stop. So this is our third time.
Let's put it in.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. Enter your participant ID followed by pound. You are in the meeting now.
Okay, we should be
There
good.
are 13 participants in the meeting.
Can you hear us, Bill?
Yep.
Okay, we're
You
good.
popped up, so I see you're back.
Good.
Okay, I've ventilated enough on this. We can talk about this rule privately later. It doesn't do any good to talk about it now. Do we have a motion to make? Does someone want to make a motion to approve?
Okay, Joan's,
Joan is the first. Rob is the second.
okay.
Any further discussion on this? Let's have a roll call vote, Susan.
Okay, Bill Marin,
Yes.
Joan Keefe? Joan, just do your voice. I'm gonna put.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Gino Rossetti, still absent. Eric Volzek is gonna recuse himself. Tracy Bennett,
Yes.
Bernie Grauer,
Aye.
and Rob Levitt.
Yes.
The motion passes 5-0.
Thank
It
you
wasn't
all.
as close as you thought, Rob.
I had a feeling it was gonna go well.
I think
Thank you. Thank you. We're just so appreciative. And again, anytime we can do a tour, we'd love to have you up.
Thank you very much.
I'll put you
We'd
to
love
work
see it.
too. Oh, and
Thank you.
Gino's here.
looks like Gino's joining us here. So it looks like he's trying to connect to his audio, so.
Welcome, Gino.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm
That's all right. You missed the first vote, but we still have one more to go.
good. I assume it passed.
Yes, passed unanimously.
I think Jake and Bo, we're good now, and Gail has exited the Zoom. Oh, she's still on, but she went blank, so you guys can do the same.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Gino, can you hear us?
We don't need a face mask on Zoom.
A little scary looking there.
Okay. Susan, are we ready for
Yes.
the tree farm solar array?
We are, and James is gonna take this one too.
We have Paul Spencer here representing the applicant group. I'm going to work on sharing my screen here. Okay. So this item is a referral from Eagle County. Let me grab my packet material. So this item is a referral from Eagle County. It's for an application for solar arrays on the tree farm property across from Willits Town Center. The applicant is proposing ground-mounted solar arrays and 10 of them on the east side of the lake at the tree farm. As you can see on the site plan that's on the screen, it's proposed to provide 200 kilowatt of energy, and the applicants have indicated that it can't be seen from Highway 82. In drafting referral comments, staff has come up with a letter for P&Z's consideration. It's in your packet materials, and just to show you, let me go down to the site plan of the arrays. As you can see, there's 10 of them proposed. It's a ground-mounted facility, and it's on the east side of the lake, and the lake is in this area. You've got Highway 82 down here to the west side of the project. So to briefly go over the draft letter, we've got comments in the draft letter. Number one is that the P&Z supports the concept of the solar array at the tree farm and believes that it aligns with many of the environmental and renewable energy goals that are in the town's master plan, as well as the Mid-Valley Area Community Plan. And then item number two indicates that the P&Z feels that the proposed location of the solar farm will likely prevent it from being visible from Highway 82, but the P&Z would recommend that Eagle County I request the applicant to provide a photo simulation just to ensure that they accurately understand the visual impacts. And then the third item there is the town recommends the county reinforce the applicant's representations with conditions of approval that there will be no lighting associated with the solar array and that the solar panel materials will be non-reflective. So that's the draft letter that's in the packet. This evening, staff believes that the P&Z has several options. Those options are to direct staff to transmit the letter as drafted, or P&Z could recommend changes to the letter and direct staff on what those changes should be. So that being the case, we do have Paul here. Paul, do you have any additional comments or you'd like to make?
No, just here to answer any questions about the project. We think it fits in well with that location in Mid-Valley, and of course, will provide more clean energy in the local area. I will say, and just in your review of the recommendations, certainly on board with no lighting, et cetera. I think the simulation, honestly, I think would be wasted money, just in the fact that if you drive down 82, you'll notice the entire neighborhood is, or that entire development is shielded by 25, 30-foot trees from 82, and then there will be buildings in between those trees and the array in addition to the trees. So I think if we provide you a simulation, it's going to be a picture of a tree or a picture of a building that lie well in advance of the array, but understand the recommendation.
Alrighty, let's do commissioner comments. Susan, wait, before we start that, Susan, is this a public hearing?
It's not a public hearing, but we identified that we would take public comment.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Commissioner questions. Let's start with Eric, since you're at the top of my screen.
Paul, could the site handle actually more panels and turn it maybe into more of like a solar garden on top of just providing for the tree farm?
No, the site, so the development is part of the tree farm PUD. The site that the solar is going on is actually not part of the tree farm PUD. It's actually land of Woody Ventures, which is the neighbor to tree farm PUD. And the leased area from Woody Ventures is exactly big enough to support the 200 kilowatts of solar. I should note that, and it's in the deeper application, the 200 kilowatts is actually going to be owned by the Tree Farm Metro District. So it's actually to provide energy and benefit to the greater good of the infrastructure for the Tree Farm PUD. So somewhat of a community purpose in the local area. And then it's being done in partnership with Holy Cross under their Gen Tariff program.
Cool. I'm just, anytime I can get more solar and expand, I would love to do that, especially since our group has not always been fond of the tree farm proposal. So to get a little bit more out of it would be nice. Yeah, I mean, I guess the question I have for staff is, does it really matter to have the site of the panels in the letter? I mean, we see the Mid-Valley solar garden right from the highway. I don't see why the big deal is if we do see it or not. It doesn't seem like it's a big deal.
I think that's up to the P&Z to make a determination on. It kind of goes back to comments on prior tree farm solar proposals. There was another solar proposal on the tree farm some years back, and it was more visible probably than this arrays will be. And, you know, we were interested in seeing a photo simulation at that point. This one may not be as important, so that's up for P&Z to talk about.
It's more of a consistency thing, you know, in our own community. We require a simulation and we go out and look at it, and that way we can answer the public, any public that asks us about it. It's something that we looked at, we saw no impact. You know, remember how we dealt with the one up off of Ridge Road for the McMahons? you know, we determined, you know, we require the simulation and go, yeah, you're right, it doesn't have the impact. So, yeah, truly it's up to you guys. I think just for consistency that we would expect anybody in town to do it, is a good one, but it's up to you.
That's all I had.
All right, thank you, Eric. Joan, do you have any questions for staff or the applicant?
You're on mute. You're on mute. Joan, you're still on mute.
Okay. You've got 10 arrays here, correct?
Correct. It's actually one array, but in 10 rows. Correct.
In 10 rows. Is there a way that you could explain or define the value of this to the average public of how many kilowatts you could expect on a 12-month rotation year-round? Your payback is like on November in it or something like that when they reverse it?
I'm not sure I understand the reversing, but I mean, perhaps I can help quantify how much power does this produce, which I think is the gist of your question. So an average home would use approximately 7 kilowatts, between 6 and 7 kilowatts to power an average home, you know, of average size as far as all of its electrical needs. So therefore, this is going to power somewhere on the order of like 30, the equivalent of 30 homes on an ongoing basis for the next several decades. So that's kind of the scale of it. Does that help?
Based on sunny days that we have.
Yeah, based on, so all of these are based on in-depth simulations based on that particular location in this area with 20-year weather patterns, et cetera.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty, Tracy, do you have any questions of staff or the applicant?
No, I don't.
All righty, thank you. Rob, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Bernie, do you have any questions? Yes, questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, great. Gino, do you have any questions of staff or the applicant?
No, as a matter of fact, I drove by on 82 twice over the weekend after I got my packet. And I don't think because of the proliferation of evergreens, I don't think that we'd ever see, and I don't know really what good the study would do. I don't mean to downplay it, but it might be a waste of time and money.
Thank you, Gino. I just have a couple questions. One, who is the actual owner of this? Is this the Tree Farm LLC?
So it'll be developed by the Tree Farm RFV LLC, and then it's handed over to the Tree Farm Metro District. So the Metro District is the owner as the nonprofit Metro District that will encase the Tree Farm PUD. Okay.
And is it to be used as part of future energy calculations for the sustainable energy calculations in future building codes?
I don't know that it will be what it'll be used for in the future as far as counted towards that. It will certainly be a continual part of the Tree Farm PUD itself. And that was one of their commitments to do this, is to really create a sustainable aspect to development itself built into the design.
All right, thank you. That answered my questions.
Bill, if you don't mind, one more.
Okay, Gino.
Generated something for me. Of the proposed number, 10 banks of solar panels, does that cover the future as well, or is there going to be less than this for the first phase?
It'll all be built at one time, and the intention, providing we can get through the Eagle County planning process in a timely manner, is to go ahead and start construction before the end of this year, which would hopefully allow us, it's about a 6-week project, perhaps we'll even be able to finish prior to the dead of winter moving in.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions from?
As a follow-up, Paul, just a follow-up. If you got it in before the development actually happened, when you go live with the power to Holy Cross and feed the grid?
Absolutely. Yep. And in fact, I mean, the development's in process right now. It'll absolutely, it looks like, barring any delays, the array will absolutely be online well in advance of any of the buildings being built within the Tree Farm PUD.
Alrighty. If nobody has any further questions, I think we're ready to open this up for public comments at 6:47 p.m. Susan?
Got it. Remember to email planning@basalt.net or to text 970-379-1514 with your name and your phone number, and we will give you a call. Okay, we're done with our timer, and let me just double check, no texts and no emails, so we're good.
Alrighty, let's move on to commissioner comments. Eric, again, you're at the top of the list. Do you want to comment?
Looks good to me.
Do you have anything to say about the simulation?
No, I mean, I get it. I'm fine with consistency. It's not make or break for me either way.
All right, thank you. Joan, do you have comments to make? Okay. Tracy, comments?
No, except that I don't think it's really necessary to have that number 2. I understand the consistency, but the added cost, I think it's pretty obvious you can't see it. I keep looking for stuff inside there and those can't see anything, so I don't think it's really necessary to have that simulation.
All right, thank you. Rob, do you have any comments to make on this?
I support the project. I'm just a little stuck on our number 2 then. Consistency, is that something that we generally require?
Yes.
Under what conditions do we require, just for solar or for
We've done it for
anything?
For ground-mounted arrays, we typically require a photo simulation for projects in the town. We don't for
I'm in
roof.
favor of staying consistent.
7?
All right, Rob, thank you. Bernie, do you have any comments to make?
No, if it's simply a photo comparison and is not expensive or delay, I'd be fine with it. If it costs some real money and would delay the project, I think that we can use our common sense and do without it, but I favor approval of it.
All right, Gino, do you have any comments to make on this? Specifically also weigh in on the photo simulation too.
I too approve of the project. I just don't think it's necessary for item 2.
Okay, that's pretty clear. I also I'm pretty consistent with virtually everybody. I do not want to delay this. I see this as a worthwhile thing, and I don't really think item number 2 is necessary in this specific instance, since it's very understandable what this is, and we all know that it's pretty not visible from where it is. I mean, I think everyone here on this board has a pretty good understanding of where that site is and what you can see from the highway. So if that's the case, would someone like to make a motion to approve? Okay, Gino's first. Do we have a second?
motion for approval without item 2.
Okay. Do we have a second on that same note?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second by Tracy. All in favor, roll call vote, please?
Yeah, roll
Do we
call
have
vote.
discussion, Bill?
Yeah, we can have discussion if you want.
Obviously I support the project, but the next guy that comes up with a solar project and doesn't want to provide a photo, because we did today. You know, with precedents.
Sure, but this is also not really our project. This is a referral, so I don't know. I just think that when it's a house that's up on a hill and you can't really tell things, that's one thing. But this is, to me, pretty obvious. And if it's a big cost burden, I just think it's sort of silly, personally. So.
No, I don't disagree with that. I just wonder the next guy that has an
I think it's kind of like when you have an argument with one of your kids about not letting them do something. When you do let them do something once, they say, well, you let me do it once, so now I get to do it forever? No, I don't think so.
Well, our legal system is based on precedents, Bill. You know?
I understand, but this is only quasi-judicial. So anyway,
that was
comfortable with
discussion.
it. Yeah. Does anyone have any further discussion on this? All right, we have a first, we have a second.
Okay.
Roll call vote, please, Susan.
Bill Marin,
Yes.
Joan Keefe,
Yes.
Gino Rossetti. Gino,
Yes.
Eric Volzek,
Yes.
Tracy Bennett,
Yes.
Bernie Grauer,
Aye.
Rob Levitt.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, James. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, where are we here? I think we are at staff updates and commissioner comments.
Okay, so our next meeting is October 6th, right, James?
Yes.
And what we're going to be doing at that meeting is we're going to have an informal pre-application discussion on the Bowles application, which is on Sopris Drive. How big is it, James?
You know, it's a large lot. It's the large lot that has the house that looks like a big red barn on Sopris Drive. It also has two smaller houses on it as well. But it's a large property.
So, you know, this is kind of the first large lot subdivision that we've seen, you know, since I started working for the town, with, you know, some minor exceptions of the one up on Hillside Court. So we thought it's kind of a tricky site. We thought it might benefit from some P&Z discussion before they actually submitted an application. And we will give some kind of preliminary remarks before the meeting, but it's really important in these discussions. We haven't been doing pre-application discussions, and we're not doing them at the council level. So it's really important that, you know, we have to be really careful that we're not kind of totally prejudging an application. And, you know, the worst ones that I've seen when we had pre-application discussions are like the Riverwalk, where everybody raised their hand and said, I would vote for the project, and then we ended up denying it. So there's a certain level of care that we have, but you know, this kind of came from just some discussions that James and I had after we kind of saw some initial ideas from the applicant that this might benefit early on from kind of hearing from the P&Z before they spend a lot of money on the application. James, do you want to say anything more about it?
I think generally just to kind of give some feedback on concepts, and staff will have some comments about, you know, ways we think that they could improve the the potential application and, you know, would like to hear P&Z initial feedback on that as part of the conversation.
So then we also have on that meeting, a site plan review for 101 Tucker. This lot is one that you've already approved, with Mark Elise. You approved a site plan, but he later sold the property, and so they have to get site plan approval. This is a property that's zoned R4MD, same zoning district that we talked about with Habitat for Humanity, kind of attainable by design, by having smaller houses. These are not deed restricted. None of those 3 lots that were in that subdivision are deed restricted. So those are 2 items for that discussion. I think we gave a pretty thorough report a couple weeks ago about the land use applications that we have kind of in the pipeline. Lot J, which is at the end of Emma Road over by Harry Teague's office, is in for a project that would be entirely residential. What else do we need to?
So you'll probably be seeing Lot J potentially at the end of October or early November.
And the council will see, but you won't see some extension of vested rights. Stotts Mill will be in front of the town council for extension of vested rights, and also Clay Crossland is going to go in front of the town council for an extension. He had a very specific kind of phasing plan, and he was supposed to bring on another building online. You won't see that one, but we were thinking of adding some conditions regarding light trespass. Was there anything else that we were going to add?
I think that's the main one, yeah.
So if you have any thoughts, you know, just maybe individually let us know. Tomorrow, Eagle County is having a work session on affordable housing, changes that they want to make to their affordable housing guidelines, and this won't go through an official referral process. They presented it to their regional planning commission and explained that. And we may end up having some comments in that we kind of think they maybe should structure affordable housing regulations that are more particular to the Roaring Fork Valley as opposed to what they're dealing with on the other side. Because this kind of, the amendments that they're talking about kind of, in our mind, kind of facilitate jurisdictional shopping. Habitat for Humanity has made some comments, and, you know, in general, I think that, you know, we may be supporting some of the comments that they're making. Today, the town council had a retreat where they were talking about their strategic framework and their work plan for 2021. And I'm just going to emphasize 2 things that kind of came out of that, the works plan, the discussion. And one, there is a lot of support for having spending money in the 2021 timeframe on a downtown plan for Midland Avenue, downtown improvement plan. So we talked quite a bit about that. So that was good. And then the other kind of comment that maybe I'd emphasize is they had a lot of discussion about climate, and they just, so it was encouraging because they all were recognizing that climate, the need to address climate change and budget for addressing that was really important. So those were like 2 key things that kind of came out of that discussion. Anything, we're working on budget, and you know, there's a lot of activity going on in Willits Town Center, and you know, James and I are kind of buried in the details of a lot of decisions that have to be made in that process. So that's all I think I have to report on. Anything else you think I should add, James?
No, I think that's a good summary.
I wanted to ask if we are going to be in this sort of program for meetings for a while. I just got an email from the Aspen School District that they are trying to work towards in-person schooling, yet their own school board will not meet in person. They're only meeting remotely. I don't kind of get how that works. But I would really like to know if we're still in this remote meeting program for a while or not.
You know, I did ask Grassroots just to schedule us for the upcoming meetings. I know that we have, you know, a couple members of P&Z too that have, you know, like Bernie in particular, that have commented a discomfort with meeting in person. You know, the weather isn't going to be working for us. There's no way that we're going to be able to meet in site. So I think for at least through October, I think it'll be business as we've been doing it. You know, like I said, I have gone to Eagle County meetings where they allow people in the meeting room and you wear masks. And it's extremely hard to understand the public, the discussion. You know, I'd welcome you guys to watch one of those and see what you think, because maybe that's just my own kind of personal perception. And partly, you know, we haven't circled back with Ryan to see if it's an individual choice by the committees, you know, if you guys are up for trying to work to meet in the meeting space. You know, town hall isn't open, that's another kind of issue, but, you know, maybe maybe you guys can kind of weigh in on what your thinking is.
Don't get me wrong, I actually would rather prefer to keep it this way until something changes on the health front, which it hasn't. So my sentiments lie with Bernie right now. I'd like to hear what everyone else has to say about it.
Right now?
If you want, you don't have to.
I agree. Safety first.
It is really hard to listen to people with masks on. So I agree.
Yeah, it's really hard to carry on a conversation. So
I have a hard
until
time
we don't have to wear a mask.
It's hard for me to keep my glasses from fogging up with the mask too. So there's that. I would rather see your faces all small, but see all of your faces. Personally. You know. Okay. Okay, Gina, do you want to weigh in on this?
I have a question on this. So are we getting any closer to the closing of the land for the Pan Fork?
Yeah. Yes, we're hoping to close in the next few weeks, and we have another meeting about it tomorrow, working through the plat. So we're hoping to close before October 13th. So sometime after September 22nd. Right now the plan is to put that actually in accounts payable. And so we're hoping to close then before October 13th. So in the next few weeks.
Thank you. So we're gonna have that black fence around for well into the winter?
You know what? We're just taking first things as they come, and then we can talk about what we're gonna do with the black fence.
All right, do any other commissioners have a comment to make?
No.
No? No? All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a first and a second. Rob's first, Eric's second. All in favor, or do we need a roll call for this?
No, we don't need a roll call for this one. But hold it, Rob was first and Eric was second. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay. You're calling the motion?
Bernie.
Gino, gotta raise your thumb.
Yeah.
Gino, thumbs up or down to go home? Yes.
Okay,
Good.
motion passes 7-0.
But I'm already home.
All right.
They can let us,
Speaking metaphorically.
thank you, bye-bye.
Night, everybody.
All right, thank you all. You all have a pleasant, 2 weeks.
Okay,
See
thanks.
you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
3 weeks.
Goodbye.